I'm here with Gamera of Born of Osiris to talk about Through Shadows, out right now via Sumerian Records. First of all, thank you very much for taking the time to chat with me today, and I hope everything is going wonderfully fine for you. How's things?
Thank you, Pedro. Things are doing very well. I just got home from tour. We did a month in Europe, and then just directly following that, we did a month in Canada. So, my goodness, I am so happy to sleep in my own bed. And I actually got home the day of my birthday, which was yesterday. So, I just turned 37 as well. So, it's a lot of exciting things happening.
Are you tired of Tim Hortons?
Yeah. I am so tired of Tim Hortons. I would basically just go there in like emergency situations if I couldn't find a bathroom before I had to play, or I needed Wi-Fi to you know, send a message or something. Yeah, so 2 months straight with foreign data on my phone was pretty annoying, but the shows were awesome. We've been through a lot in that time as a band, and a lot of learning and growth uh, and surprises along the way. But yeah, we had a great time, and the shows went really well. A lot of really supportive fans and just cool stories shared along the way.
And before we talk about the record, let's talk. I mean, me being Canadian, being from Toronto, I have to ask you about this Canadian tour because not many bands, specifically American bands, not many bands book an all Canadian tour run from the East Coast all the way to the West Coast. You guys crossed Canada, I would say a month. It's about a month, 4 weeks was the length of the tour, something along those lines. What inspired you guys to go where no man has gone before?
So I think it was somewhat of a making up for lost time kind of thing because we in the past have, I don't want to say avoided Canada, but yeah, kind of. We have underplayed Canada quite a bit due to the border being very strict in what it is, and also me just being a stupid, teenager with a record from when I was 18 years old, just doing dumb stuff. I'm 37 now, and you would think that's enough time to let some of these things on my criminal record to pass, but they still care about that stuff. Um, so the border was kind of an issue, but I've actually done a lot of legwork on my end professionally to make sure that is smooth, and to make sure that from here on in that it's smooth. So I've put in work on that end just to make sure. So now that we're like, okay, the border is not a problem anymore, let's hit all the markets. Let's hit the east, the west. I mean, everywhere from Halifax on the east coast to Victoria on the west, which are just beautiful cities. My goodness, it was my first time to many cities on this run. It was cool to see the coasts and really just everything in between. We even hit Thunder Bay. I know a lot of people were surprised to see we hit that, and grateful. Sudbury or Sudbury. I'm sorry, my pronunciations are not always amazing. But yeah, it was just tons of places we've never been, and then familiar ones at the same time. We always, of course, hit Toronto and Montreal, which are some favorites. Montreal, I think, is one of the coolest cities in the world, and it was a big sold out show in Montreal. There were 9 sold out shows on the tour. We were just so grateful. Yeah, lots of new fans, and it was good vibes.
It was the logistics complicated, like when you compare it, for example, to a European tour.
Now, interesting enough, the logistics of a European tour are far more complicated. So, to break it down, getting ready for a Europe tour, first of all, I can't use my own drum set because I would have to bring it on the plane. Well, maybe I could do that, but it would cost us too much money. And actually, no, I just don't think I could do that at all. Like, I can't imagine they would let my bass drum through. But so yeah, one of the small complications for Europe tour is like you can't use a lot of your own equipment, so you have to borrow it, which we call renting backline. So for Europe, we have a great backline company. They're called Captured Live. Shout out to Captured Live, and they provide stuff like a drum set. I was able to rent this really cool Pearl Masters kit on our last Europe tour and kind of fell in love with that. And I do bring my own cymbals, Meinl cymbals. I am endorsed by Meinl cymbals, have been since 2008. Love them so much. It's a good family. They make the best cymbals in the world. So I do bring those. I bring my snare drum because I'm very particular about that, and I bring my pedals, my double bass pedal, because I'm also very particular about that as well. Um, so for me, as the drummer, of course, I'm gonna first bring up logistical things about the drums, but there's a lot more. I mean, they even require a passport for your gear that a lot of people don't know. It's called a carnet, and it's only something they've implemented within the last few years. So this is a warning for bands who might be touring Europe for the first time. Do your research, look into it. You're probably going to need a carnet, especially for the UK. It's not very expensive, but it does require a little bit of work and time and plan ahead. So yeah, I mean, those are just a couple examples why logistically Europe was very complicated, but Canada is actually border aside. Yeah, the border is pretty complicated for me as well, but the border aside, less complications because we can drive there. We can drive to all the shows. We have our bus with our trailer and all of our equipment. You're not flying anywhere. So the non-flying aspect of Canada actually made it pretty uncomplicated because it's what we're used to, really just driving throughout the United States, but just going further north and then the rest. So yeah, I guess both complicated. Europe is complicated though. Bands, if members, if you have questions about touring Europe or drummers, hit me up on Instagram. I can help answer your questions.
Oh, that's very kind of you. So moving on from the tour that you guys just did, the tours that you guys just did, let's talk a little bit about the record Through Shadows. And the first question I have for you is, once you make it through the shadows, what's on the other side?
So once you make it through the shadows and you see the light at the end of the tunnel, you are rewarded with not giving up and not taking shortcuts. Shortcuts being, things like substance abuse and just temporary things that will numb you that in the end, are not going to be good for your heart, your soul, your mind, and your body. And if you stay resilient, then you are rewarded with a positive outcome. And it might not happen right away, and things might get worse before they get better. But you stay resilient, you stick with the path, you don't take shortcuts, and you will be rewarded in life. Just it's about not giving up. So the title Through Shadows actually comes from a lyric, the full lyric being through shadow light remains. So which means through the hard times there is light, stay resilient. The shadow being the hard times, light remains being, the positive outcome. So shadows are the friends that you've lost, relatives, family members, devastating things will happen to you, but light remains. So you must remain resilient.
Is that a topic that hits home with you, perhaps a little bit more? Because when you're talking about this stuff, it hits home with me. I've quit drinking. It's going to be 2 years in December, and it wasn't easy. But like you said, I persevered and I kept pushing through, and now I'm really happy that I did, and I've now I see the light through those shadows.
Congratulations on that, first of all. I know that's extremely hard. Yeah, I can absolutely relate with that as well. I think one of the shadows for me too in the past being alcohol, drugs, nicotine, things that are just not good for you. So I did celebrate 7 years without nicotine on July 4th.
Oh,
Uh,
congratulations.
yeah, thank you. So I quit in 2018. I quit cold turkey, cigarettes, nicotine, and everything. And I like to take alcohol breaks too. I'm actually today's 95 days without alcohol for me. So I treat it as like some people do a dry January, but I just do dry spells all the time just to prove to myself that I can. I like to keep a clear head on tour and, do be sober on tour because, drumming takes a lot. I mean, there's a lot that can happen. So, um, yeah, congratulations on 2 years. That's really awesome, and I'm sure that all the benefits outweigh the long party nights that you wake up with regrets and all that.
Yes.
I know, I've been there.
You're so right. You're so right. It is true. The benefits do outweigh it. When I look at you guys and I see the creativity that the band has had over the years, where does that creativity originally come from? Does that come from your own personal experiences that you guys have, and then you bring that to the table, or is it a little bit more of a collective effort?
Oh, that's a great question, and it goes back pretty far, and it can be a broad question too. So I guess I'll have to give myself credit where it's due. I did start the band. I recorded all the instruments on our very first album, The New Rain. I recorded every instrument on that except for the vocals, and most people don't know that. And they also don't know I did the same thing. I recorded all the instruments on A Higher Place, the 2009, our second album, besides vocals, except for the song Exist. Lee McKinney, our old guitarist, wrote that. So I taught him how to record, showed him how to do that, and then he started writing songs for us as well. And so then starting at the tail end of our second album and then on to our third album, it became very much more of a group effort with songwriting and stuff like that. So that's where you've heard the sound expanding a little bit, which has really progressed along the years. And now we're on to, our, is it our eighth or ninth studio album? I can't believe I don't know. That's something I should know. But Through Shadows now, I want to say that might be our ninth studio album.
I think it's ninth.
Yeah, thank you. I guess you know these things. I don't, but so yeah, my guitarist Nick Rossi and I have just really been feeding the ideas off of each other, and I respect him so much as a songwriter, and he's just such a powerhouse guitarist, songwriter, and everything. So we've actually been bouncing ideas back and forth together quite a bit, where I'll start a song, I'll have one riff, and I'll send it to him, and he'll send it back to me with something added to it. And it's nice, and or to have somebody tell you, "Hey, maybe we shouldn't use this part," or "I like that a lot. Let's repeat it." Because as an artist, we all have self doubts, and it is nice to have external feedback as well. Um, so, Sergio, your phone is so loud. Yeah, so it's something that started with me. And now it's very much a group effort, and Ronnie, of course, is just incredible with the vocals. And I've known Ronnie since fourth grade, and I tell you what, I've never met somebody so naturally talented in that department, charismatic, and we've just been very good friends ever since. And that's the hardest part about staying in a band, is like getting along with people. It is a marriage. It
Yeah.
really is. Don't let anyone tell you that it's not, because I mean, we've been a band since 2003. Um, yeah, on paper it's 2007, but we were playing the same songs in 2003 in local VFW halls. We were in high school playing the same songs that are on our first album. Uh, so yeah, we've been a band since 2003. It's been a really long time. It's been a journey.
When you see the development of the band and your own personal development, how much is it influenced by your personal growth that you learn over the years in those records, and how much is influenced by bands like Hannibal, you're wearing the t-shirt? Do you take a lot of outside sources to influence you, or is more your own path and your own development?
Oh, I get very, very influenced by outside sources. I think that's very important as well, because you don't always want your music just to sound like you. Sure, like maybe Born of Osiris did start a bit of a movement with that specific sound of metal, but that came from inspiration. It didn't just come from nothing. I mean, I heard Between the Buried and Me put out an album like The Silent Circus. Nothing sounded like that at the time. Then they put out Alaska, a whole different sound, and nothing sounded like that either. So I was just a kid, like hearing these records, and just my mind was blown. I will always cite Between the Buried and Me as like a huge inspiration for me. So you can maybe hear the sporadic kind of progressive tempo changes, time signatures, key changes, all that stuff. Uh, it was me not trying to sound like Between the Buried and Me, but like making something kind of almost paying homage to that sound and making it my own while a combination of like movie music. John Williams, I'm a huge fan of his scores. Uh, so growing up with sounds like that, and then I guess to elaborate on your question, that now that I'm older and a bit more established, I continued to be inspired by artists, even some artists who emerged way later than we did, like Brand of Sacrifice. I mean, they're like still, I would say they're still somewhat of a newer band compared to we are, and I've taken major influence on them too. You might hear it on our new album Through Shadows, the song Inverno. I put like a really crazy choir breakdown in there, and a lot of people noticed too. I don't want to say it completely like ripped them off. I think it was more just paying a respect, like doing something that, oh, that sounds like a Brand of Sacrifice breakdown, just like every other band has done to my band. Oh, that sounds like Born of Osiris. It's just a respect thing, you kind of carry the idea, and I think it's fun. We kind of, I will admit that was totally inspired by Brand of Sacrifice because I love that band, and I think we should do some tours with them.
They're Canadian. I'm sure you know. They're from Toronto. I
Yeah,
actually
yeah.
I've had the pleasure of seeing them play in Toronto when people not even knew who they were. Like I've seen them play some tiny, tiny shows when nobody had a clue who they were. They were not as popular as they are now. So yeah, I those guys are definitely carrying the flag and doing some really interesting stuff. I saw them, I think it was earlier this year on tour, if I'm not mistaken, with Whitechapel. They were on tour with Whitechapel.
Oh, another great band, of course.
Yeah, yeah. So really fitting the bill in terms of what they can bring to the table and their innovations and styles. That's another band that is not afraid of throwing a curveball at their listeners.
Oh, absolutely. And well, I so Brand of Sacrifice, I want to say they started as a band called the After Image. Um, and yeah, no, it just goes to show you that like my band wasn't always called Born of Osiris. We were called Rosecrans, which is it's a terrible name, but Sumerian Records made us change it. And yeah, no, it just seems like a similar story, and they kind of emerged. They did their own sound for sure, hands down. They started something. So yeah, that I guess that was to answer your question. I'm absolutely never stopped being inspired by artists, and even the ones that came before me. So good for them. Keep inspiring because it worked on me.
And you guys are inspiring a lot of people. I went to a show last week. I went to see Vervum from Switzerland, a technical death metal band, and I there was like 4 or 5 guys with Born of Osiris t-shirts in the crowd, which I thought was really interesting. So you guys definitely have a fan base over here.
Oh yeah, wait, which show was that? Where was that?
It was at Least Palace in Toronto a couple
Yes.
of weeks ago.
Okay, so their Verbum's tour, I actually just hung out with those guys a few days ago. So we played a lot of the not the same shows, but we hit the same markets like Calgary and where else? Edmonton. They were kind of just following us because we would see each other's flyers everywhere. So we kind of laughed about it. We finally actually played the same show in Armstrong, BC.
Oh, the festival, right? There was a festival.
Yeah, yeah. So we laughed about that. We're like, hey, wait, we see each other's flyers this whole tour, but we don't even get to see each other until now. So I actually got to watch them play, and they're just mind blowing. My God, that band is so good. Uh, but yeah, it was cool to say hi to them. Then they are from Switzerland, I think,
Yeah, yeah.
right? Yeah. So it was a cool kind of send off. That was our last date of the Canadian tour was in Armstrong, and then we actually drove for 3 days. We kind of broke up the drive within 3 days. It would have been it's like a 30-hour drive from BC to Cadott, Wisconsin for Rockfest, which is it's about an hour from Madison, Wisconsin. So we played Rockfest as our last show of the tour. Shout out Rockfest. That was really awesome. Good send off for us back home. Great crowd, big show. So yeah, that's how we ended the tour, and that was like a day or a couple days ago, and now I'm home.
Enjoying your time off. Let me ask you about your drumming because I feel like when we look at Born of Osiris, everybody's going to talk about the guitars, the vocals. I mean, no, that's normally where people go first, obviously, but I felt like your drum sound on this record was excellent. Where does that drum sound need to be for you to be satisfied that you're providing Born of Osiris with what Born of Osiris needs?
Thank you, Pedro. I appreciate that. So, I produced the drums myself. I recorded and engineered them myself in my basement here. Actually,
Wow.
I'm at home right now, and it's just below me is the studio. Since I just got home from tour, my drums are not set up right or anything. It's kind of a mess. Otherwise, I might go walk there, give you the tour, but it's nothing to look at right now. Microphones aren't set up or anything, but yeah. So I recorded all those drums myself in the basement, and then it was mixed by Zach Jones. And for those in the metal world who aren't might not be familiar with his work, he did the latest Veil of Maya album, which sounds phenomenal. He did a great job on Through Shadows, and yeah, the drums hit really hard. I love what he did with the mix, and of course, I'm always fighting to get the cymbals louder, and it's always the battle where the drummer would be like, turn the drums up, and the rest of the band's like, dude, they're really loud already. So, drummer problems, but yeah, no, we finally got it where I wanted it. So the drums are smacking really hard, and it's an interesting mix. It's unique for sure. We do like to change it up every album and do different mixes and try different engineers and all that. So yeah, but thank you. I'm glad that you like the sound because
It's interesting that you use the
yeah.
word difficult mix because for me, the album, I felt that difficulty with it, but your drum sound was so consistently good that it was always kind of like my beacon that even when I got kind of lost within what you were trying to create overall sonically, your drums were like that slingshot that always brought me back to that starting point. And I think if you're going to have an album that musically pushes boundaries, you need one element of consistency. And I felt like you guys did that with the drum sound.
Very well spoken. That's awesome. I didn't think of it that way, but yes, absolutely. I could see how that would make sense.
Yeah, I thought you were phenomenal, man. You really did a wonderful job on this record, drum wise, really cool. Now, you just finished a tour. You have a record, two different experiences playing live and playing in the studio. When it comes to play live, do you have a favorite song? It might not be the same as you have when you recorded it in the studio, but do you have a favorite track to play?
Yes, and the favorite is ever changing as we do introduce new songs quite frequently into the set. There are a lot, but I would say right now, just because it's new and fresh, the song that's from Through Shadows, A Mind Short Circuiting, I really love playing those drum parts. A lot of that was inspired by Thomas Hawk of Meshuggah and just his mind bending polyrhythms and patterns that you have to listen to a million times to understand what's going on. And it was it, that song was took me quite a while to get the drums down. Even though I wrote that song, I mean, I wrote the guitars and all the instruments and stuff, but it doesn't mean that I can just go sit at the drums and start playing it because when you write something in the studio and then having to actually play the whole song in one go is a lot different. So it threw me for a loop for sure. I think it was a lot of just sitting with headphones on, trying to figure out patterns and stuff. But yeah, that's one of my favorites to play. And then I also have to go back to the roots where I love to see the crowd's reaction to Bow Down. It's from our first album. It was just one of the band's, well, still is one of the band's most popular songs, and I think for its time, it was ahead of its time, and it was a statement. It's like the definition of short but sweet. It's a very short song, but it's to the point, and I like to see the crowd react to it. I like to watch mosh pits because I feed off of that energy. It gets a reaction. So any song that gets a reaction every time, that's going to be my favorite to play because it's entertaining. Watch people beat each other up in a kind way, of course, in a a fun mosh pit way. But yeah, bow down, mind short circuiting. Machine always goes insane. Of course, it's an easy song for me to play. So, and I get to whip my hair around quite a bit during that song. So, any song that I is easy enough for me to whip my hair around, I have so much fun doing that and do hair whips and all that. So, yeah, those three and a lot more.
From an audience standpoint, it adds to the visual and it adds to the show. So we appreciate you appreciating the songs and doing that.
Of course, yeah. I don't get people ask me like, don't you get ever get sick of playing those songs that you have to play every night? I say, as long as the crowd keeps cheering, I am never sick of it. I always appreciate that. Yeah, old song, but new audience.
Yeah, yeah,
So
100%. 100%.
yeah,
I,
yeah, it's a lot
I
of fun.
agree. I agree with you on that. There's Michael Jordan was once asked about his performances. Why did he play hard every single night? And he said that every single night he played hard because there was somebody in the audience that had never seen him play before, and he didn't want that person to go home thinking Michael Jordan sucks. So,
Yes,
it's kind of goes to what you're saying. Same song, different audience.
yes, he put it so well. Well, Chicago represent.
Yeah, yeah, man, the Bulls back in the day. What can I say?
Yeah,
Cameraman, thank you very much for your time. I hope now that everything is cleared up, you guys don't take 10 years to come back to Canada again for shows. So I hope to see you guys back in Toronto at some point in time soon. Maybe not too soon because you guys were just here, but soon enough. It's always a pleasure to welcome you guys to Toronto. And thank you very much for taking the time today, man. This was a blast.
yeah. Thank you so much. This was amazing. Yeah, I appreciate your time, and we'll probably be back in Canada next year.
Oh, I'm looking forward to seeing you in Toronto.
Yeah, thanks so much. Well, I'll see you there.
All right, man. Take care. All the best. Enjoy the rest of your day.
You too. Thank you.